I'm working with Happy to Thrive because I feel like mental health is really important in a person's life, especially with like increased cases right now. Due to COVID, there's been a lot of increased cases, but in general, mental health is something that increases a lot, like every week in America, also across the world. So my goals for ending mental health stigma was to like spread more awareness. I think like a lot of people are not educated about it. Like as we know, there's still like many people are, but there still are several people that are not educated about it. And we have to like end the stigma. So like we can't discriminate people because I know that mental health stigma is really common, and if someone's going through a hard time in their life, we to be that leader and like initiate and like know how to talk to that person. And if we really aren't able to like help them as like try to help them as best as we can, but if you can't, like there's always professionals and trained people that can help them. Overall, I think ending mental health stigma means like better health, which is equal to happy living for a person. So like stigma, like you guys all know what like stigma means, right?
Yep.
Yeah. so so like
Yeah.
yeah, so I kind of also because I know stigma means like to be like discriminated relating to that, but it's kind of related to like that also in mental health. It's a little different, but it's the same. Like it really relates to like the negative attitudes and beliefs towards people who have a mental health issue, but we as people need to come together and end the stigma. So I found this really good article. So I actually found this quote. People with mental health problems say that the social stigma attached to mental ill health and the discrimination they experience, it really makes their difficulties worse and it makes it even harder for them to recover. I got all this information from this article. If you guys want to see it really quick. So yeah. So I also found like some statistics. Mental health problems are very common around the world. So from mentalhealth.org.uk, they say that 1 in 6 people in the past week experience a common mental health problem. 10% of children and young people aged 5 to 16 years have a clinically diagnosable problem. Depression is one of the major mental health problems worldwide, followed by anxiety, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder. And 9 out of 10 people with mental health issues say that the stigma and discrimination has a negative effect on their lives. Um, so many of these things, such as like finding work, jobs, being in like a good relationship with a person, living in decent housing, be socially included in mainstream society, they're like most, even those simple tasks in life are really hard for people who are struggling with mental health problems. And it's also because the discrimination also includes stereotype views towards people who have mental health illnesses, like especially I think like stereotype, like how they mention on the website, meaning like a person who has like a disorder, like some people think it's bad, like oh, like they're not a good person, like they're bad, and it's all like stereotype views. And stigma, as I said before, the stigma and discrimination stereotypes, they all cause like a person's mental health issue to become worse, and it can delay their recovery. So I guess like I'll ask each of you, like, what are your thoughts on mental health stigma, or like what does it mean to you? You can just like share anything, like just anyone can talk.
Who's going?
First.
Shut, are you going?
No, you go first.
Oh, okay. No, oh yeah, for sure. Like, there's so much stigma about it. Like, in America, it's getting a little better because there's more awareness regarding it. But like in other countries, like I was in India for a while, like I studied there, right? They don't even consider like mental health as an issue. Like they just hide it, or they don't even acknowledge it in society. So people are even scared to even come forward if they feel that way. So yeah, the what you're doing is really good. Like talking about it, that's the only way like we can remove the stigma and like the stereotypes and how we like don't treat people with such illnesses like or normally, like you treat them like not like you just treat them unfairly, and like it's just, yeah, talking about it is just good
Yeah,
because it does bring awareness. Yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree with you about like India. I think I do know a lot about like India and mental health. Like they're not really aware about it a lot in India. Also, it's a pretty common problem there too.
Yeah.
Does anyone else like have any ideas or like want to share their thoughts?
I guess I'll say something about it. Um, I don't know, like for like guys too, like if there's like a problem like with mental health, like a lot of guys like, oh, be a man is like man up, and like those terms are like very common when it comes to like discussing mental health like within like a group of guys, I guess. So like they usually like brush it off as like you just need to man up, like you have to get over it, and like they don't really attend the situation how it's supposed to be attended.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like especially like yeah, I feel like gender does not like come in play. Like anyone could get mental health, you know, and it's really hard. Not just for like girls, like in general, like everyone, you know, everyone like cries, has their difficulties. So it's always like good to like talk it out. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the stigma is not just for guys though. Like a lot of people, like even though there is more awareness in America about mental health, like when it comes to action, people still have a stigma. Like if you or like a person you know is going through something, you're not gonna like try to seek out help or, you know, do things that you like. I don't know. Like even if someone's going through a tough time, they'll be like, "I'm not actually depressed." And I think people always try to justify, like they compare themselves to people that they know who are depressed. And I think it's different for everyone, and that like there is that negative stigma still when it comes to taking action for yourself. So I think that needs to change.
Is anyone else? Or I could just like move on next.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Okay.
Do you have something to say?
But yeah, I was just gonna say like, I think it really, I think mainly the stigma, like this idea of like thinking that oh like a person's bad because of their mental health. I think that just really needs to change. Especially like many people around the world have mental health, even like mild symptoms or like a mild disorder. Like it's really common, especially in like a lot of teenagers these days. So yeah. So what are some like general signs or symptoms of anxiety, depression? So these are just some general symptoms. There are more symptoms which are more specific towards certain mental illnesses, such as like bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. So some of them are like feeling low, sad, worried, anxious, extreme changes in mood. Like you can be feeling like really happy at one point and then like really sad and then go back to being really happy. Like and also like withdrawal or like social isolation, like isolating yourself from like your friends, family, others. Um, so yeah, it's like how could you help someone who has mental illness? Like helping someone who has a mental illness, it's like really different according to every person. And even though like if you're not like a trained professional, you can still like try to help them as best as you can. I think the best thing you can do is really just having an open conversation with them to try and find out like what how do you think you'll be able to help them, or like what do they need. um, so yeah, like listening to them and focusing on their needs in the moment. uh, Find a professional to help them if you really aren't able to help them. Ask what will help them, like specifically what's going to help them to get better, or in what ways can you help them. Find them help or professionalized psychologist if needed. And if it's really something in the case, if it's really extreme, I kind of do want to bring this up. So if you're really talking to a person, a patient who has a mental disorder and something really extreme happens, like such as like suicide, or if they're gonna say, I think you should really just call the suicide hotline as fast as you can. I mean, that's like really, you know, if there's something like really life threatening like that happens, like if you're like talking to a patient like that, just like find a psychologist like as soon as possible and like call the mental health. I mean, yeah, like call people to help and also like the suicide hotline. There's also like a chat to talk on the suicide hotline. There's like an online Google chat or something for them if someone who's going through like a really hard time just to talk it out. Especially in these COVID times, I know there's like a lot of people using like online services and everything to help them. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, I just put some fun quotes at the end. So anyways, could just move away from that really extreme. Oh, anyways. So like the end of meeting, I think there are so many people who experience mental health illnesses, and actually there is actually an Equality Act of 2010. I actually researched this a couple of days ago. So that act makes it illegal officially to like discriminate people of mental health problems in public services and functions. And like since that act has happened, I think it's definitely like it's taking like a shift now. Like more people are starting to get more awareness, but there still needs to be people need to be more educated about it and like end like the social stigma towards people with mental health. Just like globally coming together and ending this like stigma. So yeah, I guess like you can just like have me like final discussion, comments, questions. I could like stop because like that's basically my whole uh, Google Doc. So
Mm.
yeah.
Wait, did you stop?
What?
Nothing. Are you still recording?
I'm trying to get back on this page. Wait, okay, I'm gonna stop. All right. Yeah, it's like still recording. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you link us the website?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
No,
Sure.
yeah, like so like one thought I have is like, yeah, if you or get more awareness, then you'll be more capable of anyone that comes with their like if they have any issues with you, then you'll be more capable of helping them out. So it's always better to like study and like talk about it with your families. Even like discussing mental health issues with families is always difficult because you don't know how they'll respond or take the information. So it's always just nice to like educate yourself so you'll be able to help another person if anyone else comes towards you with for help.
Yeah. And yeah, I like that how you brought up like family because I know like a lot of people, especially young teenagers, I know that some of them feel like really scared to like go and especially like telling their family members or even like trying to tell like their parents that oh like I'm starting to like feel like this way or like I'm starting to feel like these changes in mood. I think that's really hard. Like even opening up and trying to like tell your like, like your
Yeah.
but I think they're your family. They're there to help you, and like if you need like the best training help, like there are professionals to help you. Like,